Okay, greetings everybody. Greetings, how are you doing today? It's a pleasure having you here. Yes, indeed. So I would say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are connecting to us from. And I can see some of us are already here. Awesome, right? So as we are here already, we already know what we're going to be talking about. But before then, I just want to say, let us know where you are connecting to us from. Um, Okay, I can see we have Anifowoshe Joshua saying afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to two of you, right? And remember, it depends on where you are connecting to us from. Some of us might be in UK, some of us might be in Africa, Nigeria, some of us might be in Canada, just like myself. Some of us might be in Asia, Malaysia, Dubai, and the rest. So always let us know where you are connecting to us from. And of course, we will give you the proper guidance as we proceed. Okay, so somebody said, first time here, would please give me guidance. Okay, today, just like what we've been doing this week so far, yesterday and Tuesday, we've been talking about the major currency pairs, what's happening to the major currency pairs, what's happening to gold, and what's also happened to the Bitcoin. So it's majorly a thing of analysis, trading analysis, right? So it's not a thing of training. But as we proceed, I would, as usual, try as much as possible to answer questions from the comment section. I could give you a rundown about the business or whatever the case might be. So that those that are saying that they are new, they also have a good enough understanding of the business, and then you know how to proceed. So don't forget, let us know where you are connecting to us from. So the first thing I put up on the screen for us to have a look at before we discuss any other thing. As we always say, there must be a step-by-step procedure to trading. You must have your regular, things that you do before you start placing buy or before you start placing sell. And I always advise, no matter the type of trader that you are, whether you are a scalper, intraday, swing, or position trader, always ensure that you check on the calendar. I repeat, always ensure that you check on the calendar to be aware of what is happening or what is coming out based on the news, based on the scheduled news. The calendar is based on the scheduled news. And apart from scheduled news, we also have the breaking news, which both happen to be under fundamental analysis. When it comes to trading, you have the fundamentals and then you have the technical. So don't forget to check on fundamentals before crossing over to technical, right? Very, very key, very important. I wish I could talk about some other things like based on the sessions, like the Sydney, Tokyo, London, New York sessions and all, but we'll see how time goes based on what we have to dish out. If you look at what we have right in front of us, just to breeze through this news that we have or we've had throughout this week. Monday, we didn't have any major news because when we talk about majors, that has to do with the impact. And as we always say, we have already done a filter. For those that are joining us for the first time, you can see we did a filter and it is only the red, which happens to be the high impact news that we left on. So based on this high impact news, right, we didn't have any high impact on Monday. We didn't have any high impact on Tuesday, but then we started having on Wednesday, which happened to have been yesterday. It was majorly on the USD, which is CPI. We always talk about some certain news that are very, very key and are more or less drivers, right, for the majors and also gold. Now, when we say drivers, just like for this dollar, CPI is one of them. The NFP, non-farm payroll, that one that comes out every first Friday of the new month. That's the popular key data for the US dollar. You also have the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, and some other key data that come out for the US dollar. And, since we're talking about the majors, it means that we're going to be focusing a lot on the US dollar, right? So today, Thursday, right? Earlier, because the time that you have over here, 1:30, 12, and so on, this is based on UK time. So always make sure you adjust this time into yours, right? So you can always do that from here. You click on the time over here and you make adjustments based on your own time zone. So earlier today, we've already had all the high impact news come out for pounds, right? For pounds, you can see everything here. The monetary policy summary, very key data, official bank rate. And then we also had for the US dollar as well, the PPI price producer index, and of course the unemployment claims as well, which came out negative, right? So if you look at what we had here, and this news came out about 35 minutes ago for the US dollar. If you look at all the news that we've had over here, right, from yesterday and today, that's for the dollar, you'd have expected some volatility with respect to the major currency pairs, gold, and even the Bitcoin. So when you cross over to your chart and you see some big candles, right, some significantly sized candles, then you obviously know that all of this has been based on news. And we always say, no matter what happens based on news, whether it's scheduled news or breaking news, it will always show on your charts, on your technicals. You must always, first of all, check the calendar, as we said, check the fundamentals, and then cross over to your technicals. We're going to be crossing over to the technicals in a bit. And then tomorrow being Friday, we have news coming out for the New Zealand dollar, pounds, and also the USD. But since we are still focusing on the major currency pairs, gold and Bitcoin, then we are majorly interested in the US dollar. The news for the US dollar coming out tomorrow by 3 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. UK time, right? And around that corner, we're going to be having a session tomorrow, so you guys can take note of, as people normally have a lot of questions, right? I'm going to switch over to the comment section as well to see the comments I have there. But we normally have a lot of questions, and because of the timing, we don't usually have time to go over all the comments. So tomorrow we're going to be having a Q&A session where we're going to be discussing everything trading. So you could ask questions whether it's based on fundamentals, technicals, risk management, psychology, whatever the case might be, whether it's even based on strategy, whatever the case might be, let us know. And Lord willing, we have idea about it because obviously I don't know everything, but we have idea about it. We will discuss it, and if we don't, then we would discuss about other things. We want to see how we can try to help as many people as possible. And when I say we, I'm talking about Trading Live, the Trading Live platform that's giving us this opportunity to connect, with ourselves from different parts of the world. That's why I always say, where are you connecting to us from? Because that's the beauty of the internet, and that's the beauty of Trading Live. Trading Live are doing a lot in the background to ensure that traders, both new and struggling traders, and even experienced traders as well, right? So both new struggling traders are getting some value right under the platform, which I believe is a wonderful thing at the end of the day. So thank you, Trading Live, for this. And of course, my name remains Tolu Olatunji, and I represent my academy. I have an academy, a trading academy, which is known as CSA Forex, C for cat, S for snake, and A for ant. CSA Forex, which stands for Common Sense Approach to Forex Trading. Common Sense Approach to Forex Trading, which simply means that there must be a common sense approach to anything and everything in life, right? Okay, just breezing through some of the comments here. Okay, not too many comments here for now. Victor Norton said, how much time you take to be profitable, bro? It took me years. Well, it took me years, but it doesn't have to take you years. It took me years because I have been doing this for over a decade, just over a decade. But for the first few years, I was doing rubbish because I entered the market just like every other person, how most people normally enter, right? I entered the market based on I wanted to make quick money without any prior knowledge, funded my account, and then before you know it, the story is the same. I crashed it, I entered back, crashed it, always funding with the expectation of making $1 million overnight, but then without any knowledge about the business. But then it took me a few years, as I said, learning from different sources, how to go under a few mentors. And of course, they've shaped my trading, and the rest is history. And I've also been privileged to work for a few brokers while I was in Nigeria. I've worked for Forex Time, FXTM, and also Hot Forex, HFM, as they have rebranded now. Okay, so it took me a little while, and I can see Bridget Twain. I believe I've been saying your name a bit. I think you've been here in our sessions. You said, please, I'm looking for a best broker to trade with. Any advice? Truth be told, there is no such thing as best broker. I repeat, there's no such thing as best broker, right? Just like saying you're looking for the best bank. Where you are, would you say this bank is the best bank or that one is the best bank? What I always say is that when it comes to brokers, right, it's advisable you use more than one, right? Use more than one for different reasons, such as not put all your money in one under one broker, not put all your money under one broker. In the past, we've had some brokers go under, right? I won't mention some brokers' names, but in the past, maybe some of us know the stories, right from 2014, where we had the SMB, that's this Swiss National Bank, where they pulled the plugs. I don't know whether anybody remember that time. I don't know that you were trading that period. That was about 9 years ago. Some brokers went under as a result. More or less nobody saw that coming. And of course, some other situations have also occurred, right? So there's no best broker, but the one I am using presently, one of the ones I'm using presently is ICM, and that's the one that we are going to be using here. That's IC Market. So I can also drop the link for you for that. I happen to be a partner. Partnership is also another way to make money. We always say there are different ways to make money. So for this one, I can drop the link to the IC markets that I make use of, and you can try them out and see that they are very okay. When I say very okay, it simply means that there is no issue when it comes to spread, no issues when it comes to fake moves, because traders normally say that brokers are, painting their own charts or whatever the case might be, and then maybe something happens and they believe that brokers are after them, but that's not the case. And that's why I always advise to monitor more than one broker. So I dropped the link there for Bridget Twain. You can try out that broker, but don't forget there is no broker that is the best. I would always advise that. Okay, and somebody said you can't believe fundamentals. Well, quite all right. You can't believe anything. You can't believe it. Excuse me. You can't believe anything. And that's why you always need to ensure that you combine the fundamentals and technicals. When it comes to the fundamentals, right, it might be telling you to buy, but then you might see on your charts market is going down. It's going down because this is it. This is where some people miss it. The fundamentals might tell you, okay, great. As an example, it is time to buy Euro USD. As it is time to buy Euro USD, right? And then at the time the news comes out, you are expecting it to just fly up, fly to the moon from that point where the news came out. But that is just the fundamentals. What about the technicals? Normally, under the technicals, you're meant to be buying at the area of support. So the market might first of all rush down to the area of support before appreciating. But then as it's rushing down, people that have already clicked on buy, they're having major losses. And then what happens? The market now turns around and then they complain about the broker that, hey, this broker is watching me, I'm being hunted, stop hunting, and the rest of all the things that traders normally see. But then I've been in the industry working for brokers. I've been a trader on my own before then. I'm a trader on my own now. I'm running my own academy now. So I can categorically tell you that brokers do not have the time to watch everybody. And that's not possible because everybody, you're all trading. Look at it this way. You have some people trading with $100, $200. Is it those traders that the brokers will be watching? So that's why I always say watch more than one broker feed. And that's why TradingView, right? TradingView is also a good one. TradingView, you have different brokers on that there. So once you switch through the same instrument but through different brokers, then you also be able to have a good understanding of how things are occurring over there. Okay, any info about BTC or your opinion? We're going to get to BTC shortly. I'm going to cross over to the charts now. I was just talking about the fundamentals, the first major thing that we all need to pay attention to before crossing over to the chart. And of course, this is the chart that we have in front of us. I have switched to the charts now, right? So that is coming from Geraldine Hoy. We're going to look at BTC in a bit. Let's see. What about gold, short or long? We're going to look at gold shortly. One thing we always say about gold is that you need to pay attention to the dollar. And that's why, if you notice, guys, we are here talking about the major currency pairs. The major currency pairs happen to be Euro USD here, happen to be GBP USD, happen to be AED USD, NZD USD, and so on, right? These are all the major currency pairs that we have here. And of course, you have gold, right, which happens to be a metal, and you have the Bitcoin, which happens to be a crypto currency. I'm going to talk about it. You can see that we have our markings based on the supply and demand zones. We're going to talk about them in a bit. But we always say something that we need to, first of all, talk about the what? First of all, talk about the USD. And on this platform, ICM, you find the USD index as the DXY, the DXY. So while looking at the USD, right, the index for the USD, now I'm looking at it from the 4 hours time frame. Where we can be flexible and check the market from different time frames. It's always even advisable to check the market from different time frames to have an understanding, an idea of what's happening from different perspectives, right? So from this 4 hours time frame, now I'm going to show you guys something so that you understand what has happened to the dollar and what we might expect some more from the dollar, and even what to expect from the Euro USD and the rest of the major currency pairs. You know, at times we talk about correlations. Example, when the Euro USD is when the dollar is appreciating, you expect the Euro USD to be depreciating, to be going in the opposite direction. And when the dollar is appreciating, you expect gold to be dropping, to be going in the opposite direction as well. And then when Euro USD is depreciating, meaning that when Euro USD is going down, you would expect USD SWIZY, that is the CHF, to be going in the opposite direction. And then AUD USD and then the NZD USD, those happen to be the Aussie and the Kiwi. They tend to move in the same direction most times. Now, the good thing about watching the major currency pairs, right, and also gold, is that they have correlation to the USD, to the USD index, obviously, right? So we always focus, first of all, on the dollar before crossing over to our majors and gold. If you look over here, this is the DXY, right? The dollar index from the 4 hours time frame. And since March, I repeat, since March, earlier in the year, from Q1 from January, the USD was appreciating, it was pushing higher and higher. But then since March, you can see over here, from this point over here, if you push this all the way down, you can see this was like the beginning of March, from like the 6th of March, where we said to have this drop over here, right? So I've been having this drop over here. You can clearly see that the dollar has been bearish, and we are expecting some more bearish moves. We're expecting some more bearish moves. And if you look over here, we've been having chart patterns. You can also use chart patterns for your eyes to guide you so that you look for bearish patterns like what we have over here. There's like a bearish flag over here. Then we had another one over here. So if you look very well, we're always having patterns that will give us more information telling us to sell. And this is another one here. This here is a bearish triangle. And this is where we should be expecting to sell. We're expecting to sell at this point here for the US dollar. Only if it breaks out of this level. If it breaks out of this level, then we have some other levels here on the chart that we'll be expecting the market to react to. Now, I have this area here, which is a fantastic area, by the way. I'm going to tell you a few reasons why it's a fantastic area, because you need to also be aware that the market could behave in this manner or behave in that manner. Whichever way the market is going to behave, you need to be ready for it, right? Because now we have this triangle, and then people might be saying, oh, the market is time for the dollar to go up. But it might just be a retracement, or it might even work that from here, you might have a false breakout, a fake breakout, or this place might still hold its ground, and then the market could drop down some more, and then we have it clearly at the lows over here, right? So this might be a possibility over here, and then we might see whether it might bounce or it might break out from this point over here. But this pattern here, this chart pattern, is suggesting that it is time for selling opportunities. What you need to do here is wait for price action candlestick patterns such as the bearish engulfings or the bearish hammer or the bearish pin bar or whatever candlestick that you could easily use as a form of trigger to sell over here. This is what we're going to be looking for over here. And you can pay attention to this dollar index on the 4-hour time frame. You could take a screenshot of this. You could do duplicate this as well. As a matter of fact, I'm also going to be taking a screenshot now as I have a group where I do some posting on Telegram. I'm going to do this and then send to them and also to my one-on-one mentees as well, right? So I've not done a screenshot of my own. Now you guys can also do your own screenshots. And the screenshot is based on what? Is based on this dollar that is going to give us clues with respect to the remaining instruments that we have out there. So this is from the 4 hours time frame, the 4 hours time frame. But then I want to show you guys something on the hourly time frame as well. And please note now when you switch time frames, you have different interpretations of the market that could be a bit confusing. Another reason why I like this one as well is that if you use your Fibonacci is the only major tool you find on my chart. You draw your Fibonacci from the highs all the way down to the lows here, right? And then if you look over here with the 50 marker here, it gives us confluence. So don't be surprised if also this level does not hold now, but it gets to this 50 marker, where this 50 marker, if you look very well, you have this bunch of support here, and they have some resistance areas here. So if it gets to this area here, expect for sellers, fresh sellers to come in and then take it back all the way down. Here, as a matter of fact, will be a good area to enter because it will give you this much amount of profit, to give you this much amount of pips. And of course, pips is equals to money at the end of the day. So we always pay attention to what the market wants to do. And what we try to do also is to go with the flow, follow the trend, follow the waves, right? I'm sure you must have seen how the waves normally moves when you go to the beach. So this is the hourly time frame as well, which is very, very key, very important. And if you look at the hourly time frame, you see we had this area here of what? This area here of, you can call it resistance, which now seems to have failed. Over here, it broke out, and then using this as a stepping stone to push higher. So if it pushes higher, the more, then expect the market to probably get to these highs over here. So you must always look at the two sides of the coin. Now, as much as on the 4-hour time frame, you're looking forward to selling based on that bearish triangle, also pay attention to other time frames. But please try not to make it confusing for you. If you feel it's going to be confusing, if you're switching between time frames, then I would always advise for you to do what? For you to stick to one time frame. I repeat, I would always advise for you to stick to one time frame. And it's something that I also do personally. I'm going to show you something I normally do. Like this pattern that we have over here, you can see that this area was former resistance supply that has broken out now. Then I would easily switch this. I will adjust this now, that this is now my fresh demand. This is now the fresh demand over here. Don't forget our area of resistance still happens to be this highs over here, right? The area of resistance still happens to be this highs over here, where the market can still equally get to. But if you want to follow this fresh wave that we have over here, remember price tends to move in waves, right? And I don't know whether you're conversant to Elliott waves. Now, for this dollar, I would like to see the market do a pullback to this area. Then we look for an entry here for buy and then take it higher to this point here. So this may as well be the case over here because this area has been neglected, right? Has been broken. So we look for fresh areas in that new wave, That means that you are following the trend from that time frame that you're looking at. And this is also a possibility, right? So let's see how this plays out as well. There is a mini small area here as well that looks like a double top, right? This is top over here, and this made it a double top over here. So we look and see how it plays out for further clues. But so far so good. I would like to see the price on the dollar push lower to this point from the hourly time frame, and then you look for buy opportunities to take it back up. I'm also going to be switching back to the comment section very soon. I want to just breeze through a few instruments. You can see that we focus now on the dollar index on the 4 hours and also on the hourly time frame. We're going to see which of the two play out and then try to get some pips at the end of the day. And please don't also forget, as a disclaimer, what we're doing here is strictly for educational purposes. This is known as the market analysis, the live market analysis, where we're talking about the major currency pairs. We're discussing the major currency pairs and also gold. And you can also chip in Bitcoin as well. So please note that this is not training and this is not to be used as a form of signal. We do this so that when you also map this out on your chart, I believe some of us are taking down jottings nonetheless. I believe some of us might also be looking at your chart, your instruments that we're discussing, and maybe you're also marking out the levels, because the levels are very important. As a matter of fact, before you start trading any instrument whatsoever, right, apart from checking the calendar, the first factory, as we normally make use of, you can get the calendar from different websites as well. Apart from checking the calendar, you must cross over to the chart and start to map out your area of interest. Your area of interest are simply known as the levels, are known as the zones, are known as areas. When you mark them out as we have over here, the next thing to do is to wait for a reaction. Wait for a reaction, and as we said, for this one here, we are waiting for something in this manner where the price should probably come back to this area here. And then from here, we wait for the reaction here, and then we wait for a trigger. That trigger will be based on our price action candles. Could be your engulfings, your hammers, your pin bars. Even if you're using dojis or whatever you're using, you could even have patterns, W pattern. I don't know that you guys know the W pattern over here or know the M pattern. These are also strong patterns as well that you can use to enter the market. So whatever you're going to use, make sure you're waiting for that trigger, right? Do not rush into the market. Some set penny orders here, right? As an example, I'm not really a big fan of setting penny orders because it might be news, breaking news or scheduled news that come out, and then it might end up smashing the area. If it smashes the area, that means that it has triggered our pending order and it has knocked us, especially if you're using a stop loss, and we had a very fast loss. But I personally don't use penny orders. I wait for a reaction at that area and then I jump in. So speaking of jumping in, let's also look at what we have for the Euro USD. We'll just breeze through a few instruments and I'll go over to the comment sections, and then we look at the questions or the comments that we have and then address them. And don't forget, tomorrow will be our Q&A session, our question and answer session, where we'll be discussing anything and everything that has to do with trading. It could be fundamentals, it could be technicals, based on the questions that you ask. We'll look at them together and address them. A lot of us are new, a lot of us are struggling, but then Trading Live has given us this platform to help ourselves out for free, right? So, and that's why when I say we, as myself and Trading Live, my name is Tolu, once again, for those of us joining, and I'm representing CSA Forex, which stands for Common Sense Approach to Forex Trading, which happens to be my own academy. And of course, in collaboration with Trading Live, you also have other facilitators there. You can go and check on them, right? Also good facilitators. You can learn a thing or two from them as well, right? So looking at Euro USD here in front of us, look at what has happened to the Euro USD, right? And don't forget, let me show you guys something. Don't forget, on the DXY for the hourly, we said if the price will come back here, right, we look for buying opportunities. And that means on the Euro USD, we should be looking for selling opportunities. Meaning that we're looking forward to the price pulling back to this area here, right? And we look for sell opportunities to take it back down based on these areas that were formal support over here, that broke out based on this big candle. Remember we said, even if you don't check on the fundamentals, you could always know that something has occurred based on this big candle, like we had a CPI yesterday, and then we had the PPI today, and tomorrow we're going to have another key data for the US dollar as well. So if you look very well, you notice that the big candles are representing news, obviously, that have occurred. And then you can see now, price should hopefully come back here. And if this should do this a reversal here, then it should give us our entry. This area should give us our trigger. You can see that based on the dollar, where we're expecting to buy, the Euro USD is now giving us signals where we're expecting to sell. And you can see that as we're doing this, it's a thing of us waiting patiently for the market to get here. We might get there as we're talking, we might get there within the next few hours, or you can get there tomorrow, who knows? I've always been thinking of having like a scalping session where we actually dive into the chart from the lower time frame and we look for opportunities. Maybe if not next week, we might look at this probably the upper week or sometime during this second quarter. You know, we're in the second quarter now, right? We have the second quarter, which has started already, right, from April, May, and then we'll be ending next in June, which is next month. But maybe in the second quarter, for the week, we might do scalping, which is live market analysis from a scalper's perspective. We'll talk about the dangers of scalping and so on, and the best time to trade as a scalper. But scalpers like the market to be quiet. So this is Euro USD here. We're looking for selling opportunities. I remember we said something earlier where USD CHF would most likely be moving in the opposite direction, So as we are looking for selling opportunities here on Euro USD, we should be looking for buying opportunities on the USD CHF. So let's cross over to the USD CHF here, USD CHF, and we should be looking for buying opportunities here, right? But then if you look here, it seems to be struggling with this area first of all, right? It seems to be struggling with this area first of all. So if it should break out here, then it should now act as demand. So this one here, we need more information. Do not rush and say you want to sell here on dollar Swizzy, because you're also looking for opportunities to sell on the Euro USD. So at times you might need to wait a bit for them to clear out and then to give you more clues, right? Because it's not always 100%. So this is the USD CHF, right, where we said it is opposite to the Euro USD. And also don't forget, going back to the dollar, we're looking for opportunities to buy. That we want you to come back here and then we look for buying opportunities. That means that for gold over here, we should be looking for opportunities to sell. I repeat, we should be looking for opportunities to sell. So I've just clicked on it here, and that means that we are looking for price to pull back to this area where we have this here as supply, and then we get an entry and take it back down. Now, one thing I could also tell you is that the market generally has been ranging. The market has been moving in a sideways manner. Just like we looked at the DXY, the dollar index on the 4 hours time frame, notice that it was ranging in that triangle, so moving in the triangle. Whenever you have a triangle pattern, maybe like this, whether it's a falling triangle or it's a rising triangle or whatever the case might be, right? Just know that it is consolidating, it is ranging inside. By the time it gets to this area here, we're expecting some major breakouts, maybe to the upside or maybe even to the downside or whatever the case might be, right? And then the same thing with another type of wedge triangle. These are all chart patterns. And this looks, for me, I normally say this is probably like a Coke bottle that is waiting to explode after you shake it. And that's why you have ranging market, and you also have a breakout. Breakouts normally occur after the market has been ranging for a while. And then if you look over here, the market has been ranging between these two levels, right? It has been moving sideways in this manner. It hasn't really given us a breakout of here. It hasn't resumed maybe the uptrend, but it has been up from the beginning of this chart over here, the hourly time frame. And from here, April, market has been pushing higher. So whether it might break out from this area here and continue to push higher, or it might break out to the downside and then start off a new trend based on this hourly time frame. Don't forget, pay attention to the dollar, pay attention to the DXY. It would easily give us some clues as to the directional bias for the majors and also gold. Let me quickly cross over to your comments here and just breeze through them. Somebody said gold is melting. You can see gold in front of us. I love that comment, by the way. Gold is melting. But the truth now is that what we can see in front of us, it's not really melting. I can't see anything melting wise. For me, it's still moving sideways. Okay, let me go by the comments over here. I have to scroll up since I have a few comments here. Somebody said SL for sales. No, SL means stop loss. Right, so where we say SL means stop loss. Let me scroll up. I think I've missed out on a lot of comments over here. Sorry, just scrolling up. Apologies also if I missed out on comments. I always say based on the timing, I won't be able to look at all the comments and all. And I always say you can chat me up on Instagram if you have any questions or any comments or any assist. My Instagram handle is at CSA Forex. I'm going to type it out so that you have it as well, at CSA Forex. Okay, so I think I have some comments here. I think I'm not sure where I am. Somebody said that looks like a channel. Yeah, you could have a channel. I can't remember for which instrument that was. Was it the dollar 4 hours? Maybe, not sure, because I think that's what I started with. Then someone said this is inverse correlation of each pair. Yes, you could say that, Darlene Saxton. That's what the dollar will give you. Based on the position of the dollar, you know, when you check on the dollar index, the Euro USD, you can see the USD is the second currency, right? The second currency in that pair. Then USD CHF, USD is the first currency. That's why you have it as, you know, inverse correlated. And some are stronger than some others as well. Okay. Yeah, Chessel Salisbury, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name as well, said dollar is currently weak. Yes, dollar has been weak, if you ask me, since March, and we're looking to see if it could continue with the weakness, and let's see how that goes. For me, majorly for this year, the dollar has been sideways. The dollar has been in a range. It hasn't fully picked a nice trend, and you can confirm it from like the daily time frame or the weekly time frame. Look at the daily time frame especially, and check on what has been happening. Check from strictly from this year. Don't go back to last year. Look at the information strictly from this year. Then you probably see what I'm talking about. Okay. What do you say about price action and chart patterns? That's come from Spring More. Price action is king, as you might have heard that before. I am strictly a price action trader. This is the price action that will give off that chart pattern. This is the price action that will give us the support resistance, the supply demand, that will give us the triangles, that will give us the flags, the pennants, that will give us the head and shoulders patterns, that will give us everything. This is the price action that would even let the indicators and even the tools, the indicators, your moving average, your Bollinger Band, your MACDs, RSI, they cannot work without price action. So we focus majorly on price action, right? Price action is more or less the horse, so you're putting the horse before the cart. And that's why you notice that using indicators, they tend to lag, because when price moves, the indicator now moves after. And that is how, what's the name? The indicators work. I'm not saying the indicators cannot give you clues as well. As an example, depending on how you use indicators, the RSI, Relative Strength Index, can be used for counter trend trading. Could tell you when the market has moved into the counter trend territory and so on, right? So just breezing through this, really breeze through. I have a lot of comments still coming in. Where will we enter now look like? Not sure which instrument we're talking about. I think I've talked about a few, like Euro USD, the dollar Swissy, and what we have in front of us here for gold. We said that market has been sideways majorly, so you also need to be careful with what you're trying to do. Suppose that level might not hold, just like you said. Okay. The truth now is that you must always wait for price to react. That's why I don't use penny orders, right? If you're using penny orders, well, that means that you're willing to accept the risk. Risk is something that we also need to ensure that we are ready to accept. But anytime you place a trade, for me, I place a trade, I take it as it's already a loss, right? And then I make sure I use the proper risk management, the proper volume, the proper lot size, so that even if it is a loss, because we're going to have losses, it's not a cost, it's part of the business. So even if we have a loss, I'm already comfortable with it, because I ensure that I'm using probably like 1% of my account balance, which is not too heavy, right? When I change the chart from one time frame to another, I get confused. This is coming from Primer Elizabeth. And you can see I'm just going through the comments, trying to breeze through the comments. And as we said, when you are changing time frames and you are getting confused, then I would advise you to not change time frames. Do everything from that particular time frame. Conduct your analysis from that time frame. Enter the market from that time frame. Exit the market from that time frame. Everything from that one time frame, because time frames could be confusing for some, right? Michelia Daisy said, how do I now trade with one time frame? Simple, as we just said now. And if you look at the charts that we have, you'll notice something. You see that majority of my time frames are on 1 hour. If you look very well, majority of my time frames are 1 hour. So that means that most times I personally, even if with the experience that I have, I focus on one time frame. I could drop in time frames to properly better refine my entries, because I might probably obviously be looking for a smaller stop loss and then looking for a bigger reward at the end of the day, a bigger take profit. So I could do that, but I already know what I'm looking for. But majorly, I use the 1 hour time frame today, tomorrow, and then any other time you'd always see me talking about the 1 hour time frame. I love the 1 hour. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. It's in the middle of the scalping and also middle of position trading as well. The scalping 1 hour. If I'm going to advise on one time frame for anybody, I'll pick the 1 hour, right? Whether you are new or struggling, I would always pick 1 hour, right? But then, the time frame also depends on you and what you do. As an example, if you are still doing the 9 to 5 and you don't have time to be checking the market from the 1 hour time frame, I would always advise you to check 4 hours or even the daily. The 4 hours simply means you don't need to check on it all the time, only to check the market at periods, at intervals of 4 hours. That's how it works. Let me quickly go through the comments. I have lots of comments here, but the time is not enough, as I always say, and that's why tomorrow we're having our Q&A session. So I will focus strictly on your comments. I might not look at any charts, I might not look at any news, I might not talk about anything majorly, I might not be talking about this chart or that chart, because for me, it's all repetition. But I want us to focus on the Q&A, the comment section, so I can address as many as possible, right? And that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. Michela said I will not be able to catch the real patterns. They are focused on one time frame, as you said earlier. Okay. Sorry, just breezing through. Are we going to check another pair before the end of the live? Yes, we have checked another one. If there's any, that's coming from Hunter Sarian. If you want us to check on a particular instrument, even if it's not the major currency pairs, let me know. I could put it up, and then we will conduct analysis on them. There's somebody saying, I want to trade USD JPY. Okay, no problem. What I could do for you, I could clean this up first of all, and then we'll look at the USD JPY. But before we look at the USD JPY, don't forget, always reflect back on the dollar. As the dollar is getting stronger, as the dollar is getting stronger, and that means that we want to go with this flow. That means that this is still very much valid. If it comes back to this point here of demand, look for buying opportunities to take it up to this area of resistance here. Right, so this is very much valid. I can see we're using the hourly time frame, strictly the hourly time frame. And as I always say, try not to make the time frames to confuse you. Right? Once you know how to combine them, you know how to combine them. If you do not know how to combine them, then stick to one time frame. So this is the dollar that we remember back to, and then now we look at the USD JPY, as somebody just mentioned. Now, you can see the USD JPY from the dollar that we're looking for buying opportunities for us to pull back. The USD JPY is currently at this area. It's currently at this area of demand, as you can see. But we're looking for a pullback. We're looking for a pullback here. That means that probably this USD JPY might do some sideways movement and then give us that, bullish move, right? One thing I would also tell you is that as USD JPY is going up now, it is also valid for the USD JPY to also go up, right? But I always like it to move nicely in the pattern of the dollar. So for the dollar index, I want a pullback. That means that for this USD JPY, I won't be surprised if it does a sideways movement, or if it does something like in this manner, if it pushes higher a bit, but then still comes back to retest this area as demand. As you can see, it is acting and has acted as demand over here. And if it does that, come out here, I wait for my trigger and then take it back up, right? This is the USD JPY. You can see the USD JPY and a lot of the majors, they are moving sideways, right? Because if you look at the entire chart over here, based on this entire chart, you cannot pick a true trend direction. You cannot pick a nice clean trend. I repeat, you cannot pick a nice clean trend based on this. A nice clean trend, if I remember correctly, would be the NZD USD. Let me show you the NZD USD from the hourly time frame. I'm just going to click on it here and drag it inside, and you see, because by the time I release my finger to switch from the USD JPY to NZD USD, even though I have the NZD USD here, I'm just going to use this one to show you how the trend is looking like from the hourly time frame. Because by the time I release my finger from the left hand side all the way to the right, you'll be able to tell what direction it's moving. Can you see? This is a beautiful chart because clearly using your eyes from the left-hand side from here to where the market is here, the arrow is pointing upwards. Even though you have been moving down, as you have been moving down, this could easily be a pullback to an area of support or an area of demand. And this is easily what we could easily make out over here. This is where I will mark as my first trouble area. If you look very well, you have this as a form of resistance over here in the past. It just acted as support, So we're expecting some support over here. But be careful, this is a very big candle, and you need to be careful with big candles. But at the same time, wait for the reaction over here on the NZD USD, wait for a reaction over here, and then look for possible buying opportunities. And if excuse me, if you remember from the calendar, we said there's news coming out on Friday, right? In a few hours. There's news coming out for the NZD USD, and it is high impact. So who knows? It might be high impact for buying at this area over here, right? That just quickly answered the question of somebody that told us about the USDJPY that we talked about, and I'm showing NZD USD. And remember, I won't be able to comment on all your charts over here. I can see a few. Now, guys, let's do something, please. I want you to send me, for those like now, I can see June Doyle. I hope I pronounced your name well. You said, can you look at GJ and give your analysis on it? Cheers. I'll try and do that now, but like Regina, Toby, you can see, I still need to scroll down. I have a lot of comments here. So please check pounds CHF. I definitely will not be able to check all of them. Right? If it's tomorrow, you want us to check charts, strictly we'll be able to do that, because tomorrow I want Q&A, and I want a situation where it is strictly based on your comments that I'll be focusing on, because I have a lot of comments here, and I'll have to start flipping through a lot of them. So apologies in advance if I do not, read out your comments. So you mentioned GBP, JPY, GJ. This is GBP, JPY here. I'll just click on it and drag it inside. And by the time I release my hand, it will now change from this NZD USD to GBP, JPY. Beautiful. So look at this here. We're still focusing on the 1 hour time frame. Remember, on this 1 hour time frame, the first thing that jumps at me is this area here. So it's always about mapping out your charts. When you map out your charts in this manner, right, as you can see over here, this is an area of resistance, right? Now acting as support, and it is now back to this area. As it's back to this area, remember what we like to do is to wait for a reaction. We're going to wait for a reaction here. And that reaction, we're looking for whether it's an engulfing, bullish engulfing, because this is the area to buy. We're looking for a bullish engulfing here, or we are looking for like a bullish hammer, bullish pin bar. One thing I like about this as well, just using my eyes, I could easily add the Fibonacci. The Fibonacci could easily give me confluence. Adding the Fibonacci, I'm going to click on the Fibonacci tool here, Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to draw from this lows all the way to these highs here. I'm going to click here in this area, click here, and then drag it all the way up. And beautiful, voila. You can see it has confluence with the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level, right? So this would be a good one to look for buying opportunities. For the person that asked about GBP, JPY, this is here for you. Guys, chat me up on Instagram at CSA Forex, and I could do a chat for you. Don't worry, I'll do that for you. I'll just prepare the chat and send back to you. And I'll put arrows on the chat like this, just explaining what to look out for. Let me also do a screenshot. I like doing screenshots. You guys can also do a screenshot of whatever we talk about. And then also, you could even duplicate this on your own chart as well. I repeat, you could duplicate this on your chart, which is also very good for you, right? So let me just quickly save this. Okay, I've saved this chart from my own end, from my own screenshot. Guys, let me pop back into the chat section and just read your comments. In the next 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, I'm going to be rounding up. I try as much as possible not to make it more than an hour, and the top of the hour is around the corner. Regina, Toby, please chat me up on Instagram, and I could do a chat for you for GBP CHF. For Paul, we've talked about gold, but if you still need a chat me up on Instagram, and I could do a chat for you for gold. Let me see quickly. Mapping area of importance is very good. Okay, that's when. Mary said, why didn't you sell on 15 minutes close below support, 2033. That should be gold. I wish I could quickly pop back to that. Or let me just quickly pop back to that quickly. Where is gold? Okay, this is gold here. Let me clean up this chart first of all. And come to gold. I enter a sell at 2033. 2033, because I think your 2033 should be somewhere around here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe something around here. Okay, this could have been a good area from what I can see. You said from the 15 minutes time frame. Sorry, let me switch over to the 15 minutes. Let me just read your comments again so that I'm on the same path. You said, why didn't you sell on 15 minutes close below support? Below support, okay? Okay, let's look at that again. So this is 15 minutes. Now, this is 15 minutes. Okay, if you're looking at it from 15 minutes time frame, then yes, you could have said that this is clearly an area of supply, right? Remember, the time frame also is very important. So we have been an area of supply as we marked out over here. And within this reaction over here, probably on this candle, or let me show you something. Maybe you could see it if you can see what I'm talking about. This candle here and the next candle, if you combine the two of them together, it could easily be a pin bar. If you combine these two candles here together, it will give you a pin bar that you could have used as your trigger. But then if your stop loss was above here, this next candle could have taken you out, but you could have entered based on this next candle, and then it takes you to these lows over here. So that is also a valid one. I did not see it. It's not everything I can see, obviously, right? So if you see this next time, please go ahead and pull the trigger, put your stop loss above, and you can put your take profit here. But then don't forget to also pay attention to the dollar, the DXY. So let me just breeze through. I need to breeze through. I have a lot of comments here. I might just skip to the end as well. I'll just skip to the end. Okay, yes, I know the W and M, not N. M for man, M for mango. W and N pattern. SL for sales, no SL for stop loss. That's from Jane. Again, I think I already answered that. Okay, so people are talking about gold. Okay, gold, as we're seeing in front of us, is dropping heavily. Now we can say that gold is dropping, right? It just said this heavy drop now. Okay, I'm scared NAS make it fake out. Okay, I'm talking about the NASDAQ. Fake out from what time frame? Guys, please chat me up on Instagram. I'll do a chat. When you're chatting me up, just introduce yourself and then give me your charts that you want me to maybe do present for you, and the time frame. The time frame also matters a lot. Gloria said, I would like to join the scalping session. Okay, I'll see what I can do about that. And then whatever the case might be, I'll put it up as a schedule so you can follow my section. So if we're having a scalping session, we'll be scalping probably from this 15 minutes time frame. It's even good we're looking at this in front of us. So if we're having a scalping session, we could be looking at the 5 minutes or the 15 minutes time frame, and that could have given us an entry over here, as somebody mentioned not too long ago. Why didn't we enter on the 15 minutes time frame? So maybe we could have a scalping session soon that we could most likely get opportunities, real life opportunities that we'll take together, right? Let's see. Very helpful, sir. I'm a scalper and it is very good. I want to learn more. Okay, Tiffany Larkin, we'll see what we can do. You guys also, when you chat me up on Instagram, you can chat me up and tell me what you would like us to discuss, whether we have a trading session, live trading session for the week, scalping for the week, or whatever the case might be. Baron, can you check your card? Please send me a chat. Chat me up, send a DM on Instagram. I'll do that for you. Hero card from Baron. Do I scalp too? Not really, but I switch time frames. I'm more of a swing trader, but I could easily switch time frames to a scalping time frame, like the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and look for a lower entry that has smaller stop loss, and of course going for the same reward, that same take profit, which will make the risk to reward ratio much better. Okay, then Dana Williams said gold melting. Yes, now we can say gold is melting. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to script. Just going to breeze through to the end quickly. I can see someone talking about Card Chef. You don't recommend Card Chef. I don't trade Card Chef, but we can look at it as well. That's coming from Polinius Eve. And then also March said Card Chef looks great. Please shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll definitely do a chat for you, right? And then we can discuss that as well. Somebody said gold will touch 2047. Well, well, it could obviously touch it, but as the case might be now, it's bearish, as we can see, because the dollar is getting stronger. As we also saw, we talked about the dollar earlier as well. Tomorrow, guys, tomorrow will be the Q&A session. So we'll do Q&A session, and I'll focus strictly on your comments over here. Somebody said I took a lot of notes today. That's good. Thank you, Betty Sharp. Okay, some of us are already saying goodbyes. As we said, we're going to be rounding up within a few minutes from now. Guys, chat me up, please, with the chat, because I have a lot of comments here. Somebody said I'm coming late. Sorry, your stream is important to me. Okay, you can watch the recording. You can watch the recording for those that might be coming late. The recording will be made available after here on this Trading Live platform. I'm also streaming live on my YouTube. On my YouTube channel, you can find me at CSA Forex. You can find me at CSA Forex. So you can follow me on the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also get to watch other videos and ask questions and all. Okay. Sorry, I'm not breezing through the remaining comments to the end. Somebody says subscribe immediately. Okay, good. You can subscribe now if you can. That would be awesome. Why suddenly no picture? I believe you guys can still see my screen. I'm not sure what. I don't know your name. Your keys XAC3427. Say why suddenly no picture. I'm sure you can still see my screen. Okay, so from what we've been talking about, we are rounding up now. Apologies if I wasn't able to jump on your comments. Chat me up on Instagram and I'll have time because I like to keep it under an hour, not to take much of our time. Some of us have busy schedules. The time now is about 3 p.m. That's for UK time. And also if you're in Nigeria, Africa, that should be 3 p.m. I think Ghana time should be the same thing, or maybe Ghana is 2 p.m. I don't know if there's anybody here from Ghana that could tell us the time from there. Okay, and then if you are in Pacific time like me in Canada, British Columbia, it's about 7 a.m. now. And I think Eastern time should be about 10 a.m. thereabout. Okay, so I want to say thank you guys for joining me. And sorry I couldn't comment on all your questions or what you dropped earlier. Chat me up. I can see somebody's talking about USD NAS. Which one is the USD NAS? NAS. Is that? I'm not sure what you're talking about. NAZ. Which instrument is NAZ? I might have to look that up. I don't think I've seen that before. That is obviously an exotic if there is NAZ. I'm not sure I've seen that before. That's coming from Yoh, Y-O-H. Hope I pronounced your name well. Okay. So thank you guys. I'm going to be closing this platform now. And you can chat me up and ask your questions or drop your chats. Just mention the chat and the time frame. I'll do it and then send a screenshot to you. And we could even have a chit chat about your trading and all. So join us tomorrow, Friday, same time, 2 p.m. UK time for our Q&A session where we're going to be focusing strictly on your comments, and then we'll just have a discussion. All of us, it will be interactive as possible. And then we would, do what we have to do, talk about anything and everything that has to do with trading, whether you're trading the Forex or trading cryptos or commodities or whatever the case might be, we'll discuss that. Okay, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. Please ensure to trade safely. Ensure you have your stop loss on your chart and not the mental stop loss. The mental stop loss, I saw somebody asking about the mental stop loss. Mental stop loss is where in your head you say that is where your stop loss is going to be, but you do not put it on your chart. And as you do not put it on your chart and the market gets to that place, most traders will not close it. They say, I believe it will turn around, only for it to keep on going against you. So please put your stop loss on your chart so that when it gets there, it should knock you out, right? So that you don't have a massive loss at the end of the day. And also make sure that you are using the proper risk management based on proper volume, proper lot size based on your account balance, right? Very key, very important. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. Over and out from my end, and see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. Cheers and God bless.